Hello, so nice to meet you guys. Thank you for reaching out with these questions. Also, all of these questions are really, really good. And your last little note on the capybaras, I am gonna have to go to that Grand Rapids capybara farm because I would love to see them in real life. I never got the chance to see them, but I love capybaras. I love anything that's cute like that. I love otters, capybaras, penguins. Oh my gosh, so fun. But that's really cool that you guys are planning to do semester at sea, and semester at sea is such a good program. It's one program that will forever have my heart. I made so many friends and so many good memories. Even though I was on the COVID voyage, so the first voyage after COVID-19, so spring of 2022. That was the first voyage post the pandemic, and we made the most out of it. It was lots of quarantines, lots of COVID tests, very different than any other voyage, but it was great nonetheless. So let's just hop right into your questions. You had some really, really great questions, and I will go into them as quickly and as deeply as I can, because I don't want to hold you too long. But first question was if I took a full gap year or just my freshman fall semester. Technically, it was a freshman fall semester. It was the fall semester right after I graduated high school. I graduated spring of 2021, and then fall of 2021, I did not attend any university. I was not affiliated with the university. I stayed at home. So that fall, I retook my SAT, I worked, I hung out with my family. I tried to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. That was the main purpose of that gap semester, so I could try to figure out what major I wanted to do in college and what college I wanted to attend. So in that time, that was when I was applying for colleges, looking into colleges, and trying to figure out what major I wanted to do. So that was that whole fall that I spent, and then that spring of 2022 is when I went on the spring 22 voyage of semester at sea. So technically, semester at sea, spring 22 was the start of my freshman year. So I was just one semester behind compared to the rest of my peers, but it didn't really matter in the long run. It was worth it. It didn't affect my studies or anything, and it didn't damp me from making friends now. So all is well. Did I apply to college prior to going on SAS or when I returned? I applied prior. If you go on a fall voyage, I think you would be okay if you applied after, but since I did spring, I applied before. So I applied November, October, November-ish was when I was just applying to universities that sounded cool and sounded interesting to me. So I applied to those universities. I heard back from most of them by end of December, right before I left on the voyage. And I did not make a decision, or I did not commit to a university until I was on the voyage. I think it was halfway through the voyage that I decided to commit to Hawaii Pacific University, which is where I'm studying at now. So if you're doing spring, apply for colleges in the fall, and then you usually make that final decision springtime. But colleges, study abroad, you can never look too early because you kind of have to take that time to figure out where you want to be for the next 4 years. It's a big decision. Did I take a gap year to do SAS? Or was I planning on taking a gap year? I always planned to take a gap year because of COVID-19. During COVID, I realized that I did enjoy school, but I also enjoyed wanting to travel because we were stuck at home the whole time. I knew I wanted to get out and see the world. So I also grew up thinking I wanted to do one thing, and when COVID hit, I remember sitting in my room and I was just like, dang, I do not want to do this one career. I want to travel. I want to do something else. I don't want to go to school right away. So that's when I looked into a gap year. That's when I found semester at sea. And that's when I was like, let me change all of these plans that I originally had, because all those plans did not fit for me. So COVID was a blessing, and semester at sea was also a blessing, and it worked out in my favor. Did I apply for scholarships? Yes, I did apply for semester at sea scholarships. They have a few scholarships that you can apply for through their program. I applied for 4. I tried for a student work scholarship, which I unfortunately did not get. That was a student vlogger or social media position. And I actually know a lot of POC on the voyage who did apply, and none of us got it, which was really upsetting. But they gave it to someone else who was also equally talented, but she was not a person of color. And we're just like, dang, we were hoping that SAS will put some person of color in as the like face, because anytime you're a student like vlogger, they put you on their social media platform and they usually link your stuff. But I tried for that scholarship and did not get it. I applied for one merit-based scholarship, which I did receive, but that was, I think, $1,500. And unfortunately, that was the only scholarship that I did receive to go towards my voyage. As a gap year student, I was not affiliated with any college or university. And when you do study abroad as at a college affiliated with a college or university on semester at sea, and your school is affiliated with semester at sea, then often the scholarships you get at your university can transfer and be used for semester at sea as well, if that makes sense. So that's one downside to going as a gap year student. You don't have a university to back you up, and you don't have your university scholarships to also help ease with the cost, because it is a very costly program. So that is one bad thing. Was I still in high school? Did my counselor help me work with college of choice? My counselors did not help me with anything in high school, unfortunately. The whole counseling office at my high school, all they said was they only talked about 4-year colleges and like military. They mentioned trade maybe once, but they never talked about taking a gap year. They never made that seem like it was an option, let alone take a gap year and study abroad. So I was in the dark with that one, and I had to figure that out myself. But when I had to figure it out myself, that actually lit a fire under me of, I have to do this. When I'm chasing after something myself, I'm like, okay, I'm more educated on what I'm actually doing. So it did work out in my favor, but it was disappointing to see that my high school was not supporting or reaching out about, like talking about gap years. That wasn't really an option ever growing up that anyone mentioned. If I had to do it again, would I still do a gap year or wait? I would still do a gap year, just because it was all in the right timing of my life, and I needed that gap year to figure out what I wanted to do. And the people I met on semester at sea, they were the people that I was supposed to meet. I think waiting does have its benefits. The only thing I would wish is if I was just born a little bit earlier, then I could have gone when I had a university to back me up. But I was fortunate enough that my parents were willing to pay for a semester at sea and support me in that. And even after semester at sea, they were just like, money can't pay for that experience that I had and the growth that I had. So I'm very, very fortunate that they felt that same way. So waiting is nice because you have a university to back you up, you have a little bit of experience, but it would be hard to get attached to a university and then have to leave for the semester and then return. But doing it as a gap year, I was just leaving home for college, met people in college the first time, and then I got to start university. So they both have their ups and downs and pros and cons, but I think going as a gap year student was the perfect thing for me and my plan. What age would I recommend students to go? Most students on semester at sea go their sophomore or junior year of college. There's a lot of kids that age that go on semester at sea. So age-wise, that I guess they have more connections, but for me, people have told me I'm mature for my age, so I didn't have really any issue interacting and hanging out with people that were older. I didn't publicize that I was 18 on the voyage, and no one asked. No one knew until it was brought up. If someone asked me, I said it, but people just assumed I was like 20, and I'm like, no, 18. But either way, on the voyage, I don't think the age really matters, but I think with how, depending on your major, it would be easier to go sophomore or junior year to fill in credits for your degree. I got to take fun classes on the ship because I didn't have no degree to fill in and try to find classes for. So a lot of the prerequisites that you take your freshman and sophomore year of college, those were fulfilled by semester at sea for me. And so I think going sophomore year would be good because then you could still fill in some of those prerequisites and take fun classes and have those transfer. Whereas now I'm trying to do another study abroad, and I have to figure out how to fit in these specific classes for like these affiliating classes and fit them into my degree plan now. So that's a little bit more difficult to do. But I also have my advisors at the university to help me with that. So there's that two-sided coin again. How much research did I do to prepare for SAS? Do I think I did enough, not enough, or too much? I think I did a good amount. I don't think too much is never enough, especially with a program like that if you're going to be gone and living on a ship and abroad for 4 months. So I think I did enough research, and I also had research from talking to people and reaching out to other people as well. So I had my network of people, and I've traveled a lot before I even did semester at sea, so I knew what types of bags to bring, what that sort of thing. But in regards to baggage, 2 large roller duffel bags were good. Soft. You don't want to do a hard case suitcase because those don't really fit under the beds too easily. And then I did a big backpack that was the size of a duffel bag, and then my school backpack. So I don't think I did too much research. Not enough. I mean, I did as much as I can. You can only be as prepared as you are, but there's always going to be things that you're not prepared for. But those things are the things that you're not prepared for are the things that will shape you into who you need to be. And the things you're not prepared for, you're going to learn, and that's going to be just all a part of the journey. So there's beauty in that too. Did I know anyone prior? Nope. I just got on the ship and hoped for the best. I'm not always the most social person, but there was clubs, there was classes. When you're living on a ship together, you're bound to meet everyone, whether you want to or not. But I felt very comfortable, and it was kind of nice not knowing anyone because there was no pressure of like, oh, I have to stay with my friend, or this is my buddy, we know everything about each other, and then you're attached with them at the hip all the time. I felt like if I went with someone I knew, that could have crippled me for meeting new people. But also going by myself, I really got to see who I was as a person and how I interacted with new people in a new environment. So I'm happy I went by myself. Did I have a random roommate assignment? Yes, I did. My roommate, I got so lucky. Her name was Sam. She was so sweet. We had very similar living styles. We did have a Facebook group before the voyage, and I think I met her on there earlier, but I'm pretty sure that we didn't choose each other. I think it was still random. But it's pros and cons with random roommate assignments. Sometimes in college, whether it's on a ship or not, on land, whatever, you're going to get really good roommates, you're going to get really bad roommates. I was very lucky to have Sam as my roommate because when I got seasick, she took care of me. We kept our space clean. I'm a very clean person, and she was also a clean person. We like to have our space clean. So if I was with someone messy, then I think we would have butted heads a little bit. But yeah, even in college, like my first year in college, I lived with 2 other people, and one roommate, I did not get along with her. We had very different opinions, and my other roommate, we were able to just live neutrally. So sometimes you have roommates that are really bad, really good, and sometimes just neutral. So it just depends. But it doesn't, at the end of the day, especially when you live on a ship, you're not spending that much time in your room, unless it's at night or you're watching a movie with a friend, but you can choose where you want to watch the movie. So the roommate doesn't really matter unless you're getting quarantined. So at the end of the day, you're just sleeping there. Oh, your observation and wondered my thoughts. Yes, I loved this. I loved reading this. So I have watched plenty of YouTube videos as well as Instagram accounts on domestic. I have found one that there are very few African American or people of color who have shared their experiences for our vloggers to share their experiences. Yes, there was not a lot of POC on the voyage, which was very upsetting, but that's kind of just how it worked out. It sucks because Semester at Sea is a program that was very predominantly white. There's not a lot of minorities, and there's not a lot of opportunities for minorities to go on a program like Semester at Sea. So that was one sad thing. And even when I was doing my research and looking into Semester at Sea, I found that there was not anyone that looked like me who made videos, and that made me want to make videos. I've always loved photography and videography, so anytime I was like, okay, if I'm gonna be posting about this, like, let me make a video about it too. So that's why I still do YouTube, and I hope that by continuing YouTube now, I can get some more foot traffic, and then people can find out about Semester at Sea and just traveling and solo traveling, because I do all of that. And then I can help them, because it's a big world, and for programs that are as amazing as this, for people who actually care to see the world, there's not a lot of POC, or there's not a lot of people of color or African Americans that get to have that opportunity. So yeah, that was kind of sad for us. One thing that you've noticed is that there seems to be an air of unspoken gratitude in connection with the people of color who have attended. Yes, I've never had a more diverse friend group, and I'm so thankful for that, because my friend group was a good chunk of the POC on the voyage, and we all embraced our differences. We all learned from each other. We really spent a lot of time learning about each other and our cultures, and so I'm very thankful for that. There was very few POC on the voyage, and because of that, we did have there was only one African American professor or like staff member, CA. I think there's 2 Black faculty members total on the voyage, on my voyage, and so one of them, he hosted a like POC club debrief thing that we did after each port. So we got to sit down and talk with each other about our experiences in port, and so that also grew that sense of community on the voyage. And because there were so few of us, when you're walking the hallway and you see another POC, you give a nice, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Like, you chit chat, you talk, and there is that sense of relief when you have that other person of color to talk to. There is an different appreciation and different approach and respect for a new country. There are some students on the voyage that only take Semester at Sea as a booze cruise, and who see it as an opportunity to drink internationally and party internationally and take cute photos internationally. Some people, that was their prerogative. For me, I want to see the world and learn from new cultures and take that into account and take that with how I carry myself in the world. So I very quickly found that some of the people I hung out with, I'm like, all you guys want to do is shop, drink, and party. And I knew that was what they wanted to do. I didn't ask them to change that. So instead, I looked elsewhere, and I found the friend group that I ended up with, and they went to museums, they had tours, we still went out, we still like talked and stuff. There was intimate settings, like whenever we went out to like drink or whatever, there was intimate settings, and we still interacted and talked, because I don't like surface level talking. So it's finding that nice line in between the two, because there are some people that don't appreciate where we are, and they have that loud American setting, and they disregard that these are people, and people live here, and this is their life, their everyday life. Like we are we're the visitors. They didn't have this mindset that we are visiting someone else's country and we need to respect them and listen to their stories, because we're visitors, we're travelers, not them. So there was that. You all seem to be humbled by each experience. Yes, every experience was humbling, and it was a life lesson and very educational. And every experience, good or bad, is like, it makes you who you are. All of the bad experiences, you have to just find the like bright side to it, the lesson out of it, and there was always a lesson, good or bad experience. So that was, yeah. And I'm just reading the last bit right now. I think every voyage, every person on semester at sea has some form of a transformative experience. They transform in some way. When I went, I felt very naive and excited, and even just looking back at milestones, like when I first started high school to when I graduated high school, I was like, wow, completely different person. When I started semester at sea and ended semester at sea, completely different person. And even by the time I ended semester at sea to where I am today, like black and white. Like I would have never thought. Because of semester at sea, I can travel internationally by myself. I feel comfortable interacting and learning about other cultures. I feel there's a sense of gratitude and there's a sense of grace. And at the end of the day, semester at sea made me realize, like, we are all just people who just speak in different tongues and who have different skin tones. That is all. But at the root of it, we are all the exact same. We're people that wake up each day. We have to eat, we have to work, we have to live, we have to communicate, we have to love. Like, at the end of the day, semester at sea just shows you, like, this world is bigger than where we are. Any bad thing that happens makes us who we are. All of, like, the things you don't prepare for, you're gonna come across things, and like the things that you didn't prepare for are the things that prepare you to who you are, who you're going to be in the future. They're going to teach you how to become a global citizen. The intercultural competency that you learn on semester at sea allows you to become a better global citizen, and it allows you to figure out where your priorities lie. So all of a bad roommate, not knowing someone prior, going before college, during college, all of them is a part of your own walk. And I think I hope I answered all of your questions. I know this video is a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure I did them in depth. But if you guys have any more questions, like, feel free to reach out. I can always talk someone's ear off of semester at sea, good and bad, pros and cons. I'm with semester at sea programs and any study abroad programs, traveling abroad. I'm gonna tell you the good things and the bad things, because both of them are just equally as important. But I will figure out how to send this to you. But I'm excited that you guys are planning now, and I hope that, I think you said that she was graduating high school in a year, so congrats on graduating high school. Enjoy high school and enjoy senior year. I loved my senior year, but I was also, don't sit in senior year of high school, because there's so much more to come after high school too. But I'm excited for your voyage, and have so much fun. But it was nice talking to you. Thank you for sending me these questions, and I hope that they were helpful.